So, with the global challenge now finally done, we're going to have a new Pokemon to take a look at. We're going to have Grapploct. This Pokemon is now available in the wild in quests as well, apparently. And we used all our rare candies in order to showcase this one early. So, if you enjoy our videos, then feel free to leave a like. And if you haven't done that yet, subscribe to this channel, as I always try to bring you the freshest content for Pokemon GO PvP, as we're going to have here a fresh team as well. We use Grapploct as our say-so, because Grapploct looks like a water type, has water type moves, and is no water type. But this gives us some unique abilities with this Pokemon. It's actually an interesting say-so, because this Pokemon here, the Grapploct, is going to have access to great coverage moves in the Ice Punch as well as the Superpower, which are very strong and quite cheap moves, and also just give good coverage. And with the fast move of a Waterfall, you're going to have a damage type that you wouldn't really expect from a Pokemon like this, which could help in certain scenarios. For example, you're going to have a Talonflame that would want to swap out into basically a Fighting type Pokemon, which we are. We're still going to do some super effective damage against them, which could come in clutch. But also, of course, on the other hand, it's a non-step move. It's a move that doesn't generate energy really fast, which in my opinion could be changed as well. So I don't know. Waterfall itself is generally just not the strongest move. And sadly, we are barely going to lose here the first battle. The opponent is going to knock us out. But trust me, this is not going to be the only battle here. We're going to have a lot more battles, and we have a lot of interesting wins here as well. And so I have to kind of talk about Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is going to be the lead here. And Nidoqueen is going to be, weirdly enough, insanely popular against this team right now. I have encountered Nidoqueen so many times with this team. And it is the core breaker for this team. There is no other Pokemon other than Nidoqueen that can do what Nidoqueen can do, so it's quite unique in that kind of regard. And with this, it is, a bit awkward because our team is not designed for it. We can still sometimes beat this Pokemon though. Like, it doesn't mean that we're going to lose immediately. But trust me, you need to have a good setup with that. And we are setting up ourselves here right now, because what we set up is to try to sweep endgame with a Primeape. And this is exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go for the Rage in order to boost up my own attack stat here a little bit. And this will allow me now as well to get to another Rage, and this should force a shield from the opponent. I still have 2 shields left on my side. And with that, we are going to be in a position where we should be actually able to guarantee get off another charge move against the opponent's Nidoqueen, unless they're going to swap out and try to catch the move. And they catch the move here, or they try to catch the move onto the Moltres, which is not a great Pokemon for that. Of course, if they would hit a Raichu, this would be fine for them, but they're catching in close combat and knocking them out straight away, as we can go for another move here. A Raichu is going to land against the opponent yet again, and we can move on to the next opponent, where we're going to have a Nidoqueen against us in the lead again. And now it's kind of awkward, because how the hell are we going to have 2 Nidoqueens here already? This Pokemon is not supposed to be very common, and I looked it up now as well. Basically, currently on the Ultra League meta, there is a website, by the way, online called GO Battle League, and they log kind of battles. And between the 2nd and the 13th now, so basically the season for the Ultra League has been available every single time. There have been 1,184 battles are being logged, and basically out of those battles, there have been 35 Nidoqueen, which is not a big number. Like, this means that you encounter a Nidoqueen on average. No, actually, can't even calculate it. Good job, me. You encountered not that often, like it's like a 3% chance or something, or if even at the current time. There are Pokemon like Florges, which is the most common Pokemon, which has 200 encounters, so you encountered basically every 6th team you're going to have Florges. It's basically a 6 times as rare as a Florges is, and so it's unlikely to encounter that often, but we even going to encounter it more often, which is kind of awkward. But also, look at this battle, please. It's important, because we are in a position where we actually will be able to win, because I need only 3 more fast moves to get to a charge move here. I should be able to outspeed the opponent. I do outspeed them, and I lose. Why? Because we lacked a turn. So the last battle that you saw there, I played actually perfectly, and it would have been a positive, generally a winning set there if the game would have worked. And this is literally just down to the one turn that I lacked at the end there. If I didn't lack the turn, I would have won this battle immediately. There was no doubt about that. So lovely, isn't it? But yeah, generally consider more the last game as a win. I know I lost in total, but it would have been a guaranteed win. There was nothing the opponent could have done there. We were on the last move, and if I don't get the last move off because the game lags. That's kind of unfortunate. Anyway, we're going to be able to knock out here the opponent's Licky thanks to the great help of the Primeape. In comes the Dazzling Gleam. This is okay. We're going to have here now the Bellibolt coming in as well. And you see me doing something interesting. First up, we have to note the opponent's Bellibolt is running the fast move of Thunder Shock, which is, in my opinion, we'll say better nowadays after the change of the Parabolic Charge. But I go for double Sludge. Why? Because I want to get damage off before they boost their own defense. That is my main idea. But now I will have my Grapploct in and then see that I can still take 2 hits. And so I'm going to try to go more for better fast move timing. And so I get a free fast move against the opponent, which might allow us to still get to 2 superpowers. But we see here already that is not going to be the case. I can go for 1 superpower though, which is going to get them super low. We still have 2 shields left on a Weezing. And with that, I can just use a shield. And I'm very certain I just win straight away here. So good game to the opponent. So far, so good. Until we hit literally the worst possible leads. This is the Gastrodon. This is the Fortress. Fortress is honestly not too bad for our Grapploct because we resist even the Rock Tomb, which is kind of cool. And we have access to the superpower, which is also kind of cool. But yeah, this is going to be a bit interesting as you have here the Rock Tomb coming in. It's going to drop our attack. We can go for another superpower. And this is going to be fine. This is going to allow us to get them super low, but this is already with 1 HP. And this is really unfortunate because now I don't only have not the alignment anymore, which I really needed there, because there's, of course, still the Gastrodon in the back. No, we are also going to be now in a position where they're still going to get another charge move against us, which was really unfortunate. And so, yeah, we are now a shield down as well. In comes the opponent's Bellibolt. My only hope here is to go for a bold play. And I do go for a bold play. I go for the close combat. And now boom, and down goes the Bellibolt, forcing the opponent to be in just the final Pokemon here, which is going to be the Gastrodon. And we are boosting ourselves up. And at this point I'm thinking, there's no way that... Yeah, it's just the best way is just to stay in here. Just the best way is just to stay in, go for a charge move. And we do exactly this, and we're going to get the final shield. Now it's down to our Weezing, but I see already, I need to go for 2 Brutal Swings. If I don't get to 2 Brutal Swings, we are going to be screwed. And so, I'm not able to. Good to come to the opponent. There was nothing I could have done there anymore at this point. Was kind of close, but let's take a look at Toucannon, a Pokemon that I think is absolutely fantastic. I love this Pokemon. I think it's one of the best Pokemon currently. I think it's better in the Great League compared to the Ultra League, but I think in both leagues this Pokemon actually has quite some solid play. So, yeah, this thing here, the Toucannon, has access to Beak Blast, which is going to not only debuff us, it's also would one-shot us quite easily. Sludge is coming through, gonna get the shield from the opponent, and we are going to be able to go for, hopefully, a Brutal Swing soon. We're going to use a shield here. It's going to be the Beak Blast yet again. We're going to knock them out here, hopefully, with a charge move. This is going to be the Brutal Swing, and not knocking them out, actually. They still survive and have a Giratina on the back, and I have no answer. I have my Grapploct, and sorry, this team is also not prepared for Giratina, at least not when my lead is already basically dead. Our lead is actually a really good answer to the Giratina, as we have access to both Fairy Wind as well as, yeah, the Dark type coverage move of Brutal Swing. And in comes here the Giratina, and we're going to have here, of course, our Primeape. This is going to be okay. Shell Ball's coming through. And we are going to have another Rachus coming in here as well. Drapion is going to be up there as well here. This is going to be fine. We're going to get the... Never mind. We're going to have to forfeit there. There's nothing we could do there anymore. With them catching the move, there was nothing I could do. But even if they didn't, there was nothing really I could have done. Alright, we have the opponent here. I should have stopped out earlier. I should have stopped out way earlier, because now the opponent can outspeed me, and that is a bit of an issue, I have to say. As now we're going to see here the Rachus coming through, and the opponent decides to let the move go as well. And so they're going to get a shield advantage here with 2 shields actually up. And that is not necessary. If I just stopped it earlier, I would have been better off than staying in there for that long. That was just really not necessary. In comes the Zygarde. I am going to be able to go for the close combat spam though, which is kind of cool because we're going to get guaranteed a lot of damage up here. Like, look at this damage, it's kind of amazing. I can go for another close combat and either get the KO here and force someone to be at the final Pokemon, or I'm just going to get the shield, which we are going to get here. We're going to get the shield, that's fine by me. in comes the Outrage, and they knock us out, and in comes our Weezing, and in comes their Fortress. They might think I have Overheat, and so I go for the bait, and that works out perfectly because now I got the final shield from the opponent, and now it's time for Grapploct to hopefully do something here. Can you do something, Grapploct? Let's find out. Earthquake comes through, doesn't debuff us in any kind of way, which is kind of amazing. As now we can go for the superpower, and hopefully we can still reach another one in time, but it looks a little bit difficult, but we can still reach that one. Can we knock them out with it though? I think we can. Let's take a look at it. Yes, we can, and now it's just the Weezing against the opponent's Zygarde, and we win this battle. Good game to the opponent. Fantastic lead starting off for this battle. In comes the Feraligatr, which is generally a Pokemon I can deal with. And the benefit as well is that our Primeape as well as our Weezing is non-shadow, which means we can take actually a hit here. Like, it doesn't really matter that we don't need to shield straight away here. I can take a hit. It's gonna be the Hydro Cannon. So I should be able to kind of ally myself. I would love to have, of course, the Regidrago against our Fairy type here, not against anything else. And the opponent tries to kind of align themselves as well. So I try to hold back against it, go for the shield here. I can go for another shot move, or you just go straight away. I think I could have overcome by a tiny bit here, but I can knock them out now as well, which is perfect. In comes the Regidrago. I can go for another Rage Twist, which is actually kind of nice because we are boosted already. This is going to do a ton of damage, and then let the move go. Over half of their health is going to be gone. We have our Fairy type aligned. Everything goes perfect until they reveal their Empoleon. I know I am not going to be able to outspeed them, so my only way of winning this battle here, of winning this game, is if I can get extra energy by letting them go for the move here and get up to 2 superpowers. And you know what's kind of funny? I should have been able to, I think, win this battle, because I think the Middle Sound should have went through here before the debuff, which should have allowed us to stay there at a 1 HP, but because it lagged now against us, the fast move went through after the debuff, which knocked us out. And with that, we are going to be in a position with 0 chance of winning this battle. So yeah, this is going to be it for this one. Good game to the opponent. It all came down to like this tiny bit there. It is kind of wild, but let's move on to the second class battle, where we're going to have Lapras. Lapras is going to be pretty awkward because the opponent didn't stop out of here. They are not scared of Grapploct, which is absolutely understandable. This Pokemon is not very strong. Like, I don't have to get you here, of course. We are 12 minutes in. Grapploct is not going to be a new meta breaker or anything crazy or whatever. It is just a new funny fighting type. It's an octopus. I like the design actually here in Pokemon Go. I didn't really like it too much in the main series games. I think it looks kind of cooler here now. But generally, yeah, I don't really mind that. Like, it's not really a Pokemon that is too crazy interesting for you. You don't need a Grapploct. Just maybe get some Clopopus. Just keep them around for maybe eventually this Pokemon has some potential. But right now, as we speak, it doesn't. It needs a better fast move. It needs... Yeah, actually, I think just a better fast move would be already enough to make a Grapploct a very solid Pokemon. But right now, we can focus here on the matchup of the Drapion against our Primeape, as we can go ahead and go for the Rage Twist again in order to try to knock them out. Let's see if this works. This is going to be the Rage Twist getting the knockout there perfectly. And in comes the Lapras. I'm going to go for the bait here. There's a Rage Twist coming in. And we will see here the shield coming up from the opponent. We swap out into our Weezing. We can go for the Sludge. This is perfectly fine. This is going to allow us to get some damage onto them. But I have to reach another move in time. But I have to also keep a shield arc. Yeah, I can use a shield here, I guess. I have to still get to a Sludge here though in time. Sludge is there now. Can we survive this hit here? I think we might be able to survive. We are surviving and we don't get the move off. And with that, we are going to lose the battle again. If we would have got the move off, I would have guaranteed won this battle again here. We lose by like 1 HP, like a little bit of a game mechanic that is very inconsistent right now. Oh, lovely. So that kind of showcases as well, though, the potential that actually this team could have had, even though, of course, it's not designed to be a very strong team. There would be other alternatives to Grapploct that would make way more sense here. For example, you could use Primeape with Say Something and have Annihilate in the back. That would make way more sense than running Grapploct. But then you're not the coolest in town, and then you don't have the most fanciest Pokemon. So that's where Grapploct comes into play. For only $9.99, you're going to be able to get a Pokemon that can do absolutely nothing, but it looks like a funny Pokemon, and that is all that you can get with it. So yeah, generally speaking, I think it's a fun Pokemon to run. It's not crazy in any kind of way. It's a pretty bad Pokemon. Grapploct itself needs a better fast move. I'm actually going to look real quick because I haven't looked it up before if Grapploct had the opportunity in the main series games in order to learn something better, because hopefully it does, but so far it doesn't really look like it. There's nothing really I can see currently where it would make sense for this Pokemon to have. And that's a lot of times the case. It can learn Mudshot, which would help it out a tiny bit, would be better than Waterfall most likely because it's better energy generation. But then you have nothing else really going for you. There's nothing else that this Pokemon learns other than Sucker Punch, which also would be very solid. Like Sucker Punch would be actually really good on this Pokemon, would make it definitely a bit more usable. But sadly, as we know here, this Pokemon itself, Grapploct, is not a Pokemon that is considered to be very strong. And yeah, this is going to be it for this video as well. I'm going to still try my best here, but I'm in a very, very bad position myself. There's nothing really I can do. As you see here, the opponent can let the move go. They still have a shield left, and that's going to be a good game. And it's going to be also a good night for me, at least. Hopefully you enjoy this video whenever you see it. I'm of course going to go to bed now. It's kind of late already. Where this Pokemon was free to play now. Like, you are able to get it now in-game as well. Definitely check it out. Get yourself one, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.